In Austin, Texas, the night doesn't fade. It lingers. Rainey Street stays alive long after midnight. Music spills into the streets. People move in clusters, then break apart again. It feels normal. It feels safe. And just a few steps away, there's water. At night, it disappears. The surface turns black, the edges blur, and in some places, you don't even realize where the ground ends. For years, people have gone out here and never made it home. The first case. It didn't begin with panic. It began quietly, with one case. Then, Julio Santos III. He had been doing what everyone else was doing, walking, talking, moving through the same streets. At some point, he disappeared. No one saw the moment. No one remembered anything unusual. Days later, his body was found in Lady Bird Lake. It was ruled an accidental drowning, and at the time, no one questioned it. More cases. Then, another. Martin Gutierrez. Same city, same kind of night, same ending. Still, nothing officially connected them. Not yet. The pattern emerges. Years passed, and then something changed. The cases became closer together, more visible, harder to ignore. Jason John, February 2023. He went out with friends near Rainey Street. The night was normal, bar to bar, conversation, movement through the crowd. At some point, he became separated. No one knew exactly when, no one knew exactly where. He didn't call for help. He didn't send a message. He just disappeared. Days later, his body was found in the lake. The official ruling? Accidental drowning. But his family questioned it, because to them, something didn't feel right. And then, just weeks later, Jonathan Honey. Last seen near a taco truck around 2 a.m. Lights, people, noise, and still, he disappeared. His body was found the next day. Same water, same outcome. And then, Maga Dogale, June 2023. Another body, another recovery, another case without a clear moment where anything went wrong. The pattern becomes clear. By now, people were paying attention. Most of the victims were men. Most had been drinking. Most disappeared late at night. And most of them ended up in the same place. No witnesses, no clear moment, no answers. The theory. That's when the theory began. Not from police, from the public. Someone out there was doing this, watching, waiting, blending into the same crowds. The name spread quickly. The Rainey Street Ripper. A killer, hiding in plain sight. Think about it. You're leaving a bar. Maybe your friends are ahead of you. Maybe you're just a few steps behind. You step away for a moment, and no one notices, because nothing feels wrong. Until it is. But while that theory spread, while people online gave it a name, while it started to feel like something intentional, investigators were looking at something else. The Austin Police Department began reviewing these cases, not one at a time, but together. They worked with Texas State University to examine nearly 2 decades of deaths connected to Lady Bird Lake. Not 5 cases, not 10, nearly 200. They looked for what people believed was there, a pattern of violence, a method, a signature, something that would suggest this wasn't random. But that's not what they found. What they didn't find No shared forensic evidence. No consistent injuries across victims. No signs of struggle that linked one case to another. No suspect. No witness descriptions that repeated. No indication that one person was responsible. No serial killer. What they did find, instead, they found something else. Most of the victims had alcohol in their system. Many were alone in the final moments before they disappeared. The areas near the lake weren't always well lit, and in some places, there was nothing separating the walkway from the water. No barrier, no warning, just darkness. The moment no one sees. Imagine that moment. You leave a bar, the noise fades behind you. Your phone is in your pocket, your mind is somewhere else. Maybe you take a turn you didn't mean to take. Maybe you think you're heading back, but you're not. And then, there's no ground. No one hears it. No one sees it. And by the time anyone realizes you're gone, it's already too late. Why it still doesn't feel right. From an investigative standpoint, each case makes sense on its own. But together, they don't feel random. They feel connected. The same kind of person, the same kind of night, the same kind of ending. And that feeling doesn't go away. Because patterns don't have to be intentional to be real. The families. For the families, this isn't data. It's not statistics. It's a name, a voice, a life that ended without a clear answer. Some have spoken out, questioned the conclusions, not because they want a theory, but because they want certainty. They want to understand how something like this can keep happening. The city. And the city itself has been forced to look at the space differently. Better lighting, more barriers, more awareness. Because even if there isn't someone responsible, something still is. The uncomfortable truth. And that's what makes this story unsettling. Not the idea of a killer hiding in the dark, but the idea that there isn't one. That the danger isn't a person, it's a place. A combination of moments, conditions, timing, repeating, over and over. Final reflection. Because the truth doesn't always feel satisfying. Sometimes it doesn't feel complete. Sometimes it doesn't feel like enough. But it's still there. If you made it this far, you've seen both sides of this story. The pattern that feels impossible to ignore, and the explanation that's hard to accept. So now the question is yours. What do you believe is really happening? Because whether it's something hidden or something overlooked, it hasn't stopped. This was Cold Cases Library. If you're drawn to stories like this, the ones that don't have clear answers, the ones that stay with you after they end, make sure to like the video and subscribe, because there are more cases that still don't make sense.